Team, hello, and welcome to the second ever special episode of the CMAP Study Podcast, where in this episode we're not actually going to be studying CMAP, but I have the absolute pleasure of having somebody who, as soon as I realized I was going to be doing these specials, immediately I was like, I need to get Niamh on this bit because me and Niamh have been friends for Niamh, how long have we been friends? And I'm going to introduce you in a second, I promise.
Do you know what? Quite a while now. It's got to be well over a year, 2 years.
Has. So Neve and I met at a book club of all of the nerdy things to meet at, and we hit it off straight away. She's absolutely fabulous. We have little ones the same age, and I saw that she was working for herself. She was absolutely smashing it out of the park. It was only a little bit further down, later down the line, that I realized that actually you did life insurance, which, as I've spoken about quite openly on this podcast, I am fairly overinsured. I have to insure myself for every eventuality. And I thought, do you know what? What a good combination to have talking to people who want to do mortgages. Let's talk about protection. So, Niamh Jackson, hello, welcome, say hi.
Hi. Oh, I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
No, honestly, thank you so much for being here. Niamh, if you're happy to kick things off by telling us how you got into protection, like what landed you here?
Yes, and it's something that I'm really passionate about, and it's a bit of a sad situation really as to why I got into it. But I'll break it down for you so you understand the importance behind it and what drives me every single day. So the reason I got into it was I was going through a sort of transitional period, wanting to come away from what I was doing, which was building an online business. Now, at the time of me essentially looking for a new venture, unfortunately, one of my very, very close friends lost a parent, and I saw the adverse effects of having no insurance and what happened to that family and the situation that it put them in. So me being on this transitional period and watching somebody that's like a sister so close to me going through that really sparked something. So that's my reason why, because I wanted to ensure, and I want to ensure now, that no other family or person is put in a situation like they was. They was left with debts, mortgage debts, they had no income. There was another family trauma going on at that time, which just meant that the family was just super stretched in caring for people. So my reason why is because I've seen what happens to people if they don't have insurance, and I never want to watch somebody go through that again. So that's my.
It's so amazing to hear that it's something that, whilst it impacted you, it didn't directly, impact you at the time, and you were on the outside of it, and it was still enough of a driver for you to be like, do you know what? I think that this is my thing. This is the thing that I want to help people with. It's
Yeah,
so
of
amazing.
course.
How long ago was that, Neve?
So that was just over 2 years ago now. So I've been an advisor for just under 2 years, and I jumped into it pretty much after this whole situation had happened and gone on, because I thought there's no point in me sitting on it. Now's the chance to get on it and better people's lives in a positive way.
Do you not find it? I'm going straight in with the questions. I'm not even warming you up with these. I'm really sorry. But the
It's
question I
a
always want to ask is, how do you sell life insurance as a standalone product? Because with mortgages, I get it. Somebody needs to buy a house. To be able to buy that house, they need to have life insurance. So at that point, but people wake up one morning and go, I've got a deposit, I'm ready to buy a house. And then you kind of get sidetracked with the, now I also need to get life insurance. But with protection, people generally don't tend to wake up in the morning and go, I need to get life insurance. So how do you navigate that? Where do your clients come from?
Yeah, of course. It's something, I suppose, when you're not familiar with protection and the way it works, it's a minefield. But with life insurance, there has to be a need. There's different kinds of the life insurance. You've got your life insurance for if you've got dependents, if you've got people that are financially dependent on you, let's say, and you pass away, that's going to leave a lump sum to the family, whether that be the kids, whether that be the husband, or anybody that's generally depending on your income. People that'll be put in a financial situation if you wasn't here anymore. You've
Hmm.
also got the DTA, which is a decreasing term assurance policy, which runs in line with your mortgage. So that's essentially running alongside, and when the mortgage expires, the policy lapses. But with life insurance, like I say, there does have to be a need, so i.e. mortgage or dependents. People often get
Right. Okay.
confused though, because if they've not got dependents, they don't think they need any insurances, but they most definitely do.
So for you, is it generally like people either get pregnant or pop out a baby and then they go, oh my God, I need to get cover? Is that where you tend to, is that your kind of sweet spot for clients?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say so. Or people that are actively looking for properties. I do a lot of like polls and things on my social medias, which will then allow me to have an insight into people's lives and what they're up to. So I think connection building and relationship building is key in this industry, because you want to be in touch with people that are going through life events and starting families and things like that. So yeah, I'd say so. A lot of mums come to me for protection in particular. and then I get referred throughout the families.
Yeah, I tell everybody. I tell everybody about you. I'm sure I've had students on courses previously where I've been like, if you need insurance, you need to go to me. So
I love
I
that.
totally get how you can get those referrals and recommendations. And I have to say on the social media perspective, because my business predominantly runs through social media as well. Yours is so good. If ever
Thank
I'm
you.
at like in a dry spell and I don't know what to post, I'm gonna be like, what's Niamh doing on her stories today? And is there
Love
some
that.
way that I can kind of implement that in what I'm doing as well? Because it's always on point, you're always on it. But that being said, it's like that's a full-time job in itself.
Yeah,
And
it's a lot.
I don't know how you do it with your little one and life insurance plus all of the social media stuff. Like, how have you found that it's made a difference? Because you had George before you started doing insurance.
Yeah, so when I had George, it was just sort of during COVID, just after COVID. So I think for me, Charlotte, it's just I have a to-do list every single day. So I manage everything around my to-do list and around obviously scheduling George.
Hmm.
To touch on your answer, it's easy once you get into the flow of things, it just becomes a habit. It's just habit stacking. And I think that's how I get by.
Yeah. So you just managed to fit it all in. And do you find that your working hours are less? Because a lot of
Yeah,
people come to me and they go, I need to be able to work around childcare. And let's be honest, school hours, like Hannah's just started school hours. And realistically, my working day has been cut from nursery when she was in 8:30 till 5:30 to school, where now I get home at 9:30 and I have to leave at 2:30 to pick her up.
yeah.
Do you have the same
It
thing with George?
Yeah, definitely. Because at one time I had the printing and marketing company, which we still have now. Then I was running an online business for global distribution. Then I was doing my life insurance and I had George. As soon as I started my life insurance and sort of started getting it off the ground, I was able to drop the online business stuff. And now I'm working so much less than what I was. So the actual work life balance is the best that I've ever had.
My God, that's so good.
Yeah,
And do you
it
have
is.
any hookups with mortgage advisors? I was only literally thinking about this as you were saying, like you keep track to see when people are buying houses. Do you have any mortgage advice friends or mortgage advisor friends that like give you a cheeky one, like pass them over to you because they feel like life insurance is a weird thing to sell?
Yeah, do you know what I do? I actually have a really good friend who I actually met through LinkedIn, and we
No
had a
way.
Zoom and we got on really, really well. Now, because he doesn't offer protection, every time he does a mortgage case, these clients want protection. So now I get the work off the back of that.
That's perfect. That is the sweet deal because there's loads of people that do my courses and they go, Charlotte, life insurance just makes me feel weird. Like it makes all of my body parts try and crawl back up inside themselves. Whereas for me and for you, I'll talk about death all day long. I'll talk about all of my trauma surrounding death and I'm fine with it. But when I teach it,
Yeah.
I can see people either they're like, I totally get it. I see the importance. And actually, I want a slice of that pie financially because it's a great add on to mortgages. But then
Yeah.
there's always one or two people that are like, I would rather eat my own fist than talk to somebody about what about if they get hit by a train on the day to work one day? What then?
Yeah, of course. And I've come across that quite frequently. Like it is a touchy subject and it's not really nice to talk about, but I suppose it all depends on the person. And once you've had that conversation, you get a gauge on their touching points for sensitivity. So for me, yeah, definitely, I do have connections with mortgage advisors that don't really want to do protection, but every time they do a mortgage, there's always a need for some protection. So
Hmm.
it just generates a lot of business because the two go hand in hand.
So what I'm hearing is for anybody that's listening to this that's still going through their CMAP journey, if life insurance makes you feel weird, first of all, you're a good few minutes into this podcast episode and you're still here, so you might not be as weird as you think. But second, if you don't want to do it, that's fine, but find somebody good like Neve to refer them to because that's just like a mutual thing then, isn't it? Because you
Yeah,
don't do mortgages, do you?
no, no, I don't. Now I've got a couple of mortgage advisors that are coming through and come through on my team, which is amazing because then there's scope for them to get work off the back of me. So essentially, it's like one community, just recommending each other and referring each other and ensuring that our clients have a smooth sailing process because I think ultimately that is so important.
Do they happen to be some of my ex-students by any chance?
They do,
I
they
love
do.
that.
I know one of them actually qualified. We got a message at 5 o'clock to say they're all done dusted. So yeah, how amazing.
No, stop it. Oh, that's so good. So, actually, Neve, I think that brings us really nicely on to the fact that ages ago, when we were having a conversation, you were saying that the network that you work for are looking for CMAP qualified people because they need mortgage advisors. Like they've got life insurance sorted, fine, great, they've got you, but they need mortgage advisors. And I was like, well, let me send some of my guys over because I got loads of CMAP qualified people that are looking for opportunities.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that process and what's happened with those guys, and I guess about your network as well.
Yeah, so I'm one of them people that do research. Like, I don't know whether it's the mum in me or what, but I just need to ensure that wherever I go is the most suitable place for me and it offers the best support. And something that I'm really passionate about, Charlotte, is the company that I'm with now at True Life, they offer incredible support.
Hmm.
I'll break things down for you just to give you a little bit of an insight because I was absolutely mind blown coming into the business how much was there at your fingertips for you to access and in terms of one-to-ones and everything else. So the support is incredible and we've actually just recently actually launched an app which tracks our business so it can show you how much mortgage business you're putting through, how much protection, which panel of provider you sort of tend to place people with to see if there's any patterns within your advice. There's a lot. There's you can track your figures, you can track your income, all that kind of thing, which is amazing because I don't know about you, but I'm very
Oh, me
visual
too. I
eater.
need to look at the numbers. I need to be able to open something and be like, oh, look at everything that's come in today.
Yeah, I'm the same, and also it allows me to see areas that I'm not necessarily a downfall, but areas that I can sort of push more in terms of insurance because we do like you that we touch on business insurance and all that kind of thing. So it allows me to have a really good insight as well as other advisors with us as well. That it's not just a case of coming through as a mortgage advisor or a protection advisor. There's actually huge growth available within the business. So you can get in, you can become a wealth advisor. There's wealth opportunities, obviously protection opportunities, but then there's also leadership opportunities as well, where you can come through and do our leadership program, which essentially will maximize your income and allow you to build a team within your financial services system.
So if I, because I almost joined on with True Life at one point to do life insurance. If you remember, it was a while back now, but it was like, oh, loads of my students want life insurance. Why don't I get on board? And had a chat with
Yeah.
you and was like, yeah, True Life sound great. Then realized actually I was too busy and you were right there, and I could just pass those people on to you. One thing that I did love that they were talking about was exactly what you've mentioned, this idea of, okay, once you're running with it, if you are running with it and you want to bring people on underneath you, you can effectively like earn a slice of their pie and get to a position where actually you're earning money off all of your recruits and actually not having to do anything once they're kind of, they're up and running and going. And it's almost like it's not a pyramid scheme because that's the wrong, like that's a completely wrong word. But in my brain, that's how I have to imagine like the little pyramid with Niamh sat on top, and everybody that comes through to you, you get financially compensated for. Have I got that right?
Yeah, that's it. So essentially, you're generating a passive income. So for me, I offer a lot of one-to-one support, and the way that I see that sort of passive income is to keep ensuring that I'm always there doing my job, guiding you and holding your hand every step of the way. So you've essentially got me holding your hand throughout your whole experience and your journey for as long as you need me, whether that be for the first 2 weeks of your qualifying. Then you want to do your own thing, you're fully entitled to do and run your business however you want. But if you do need that additional support, then that's what I'm there for. And essentially, that's what the money's there for, to enable me to be there essentially at your beck and call. But touching on off the back of that, we do weekly training as well. So every Monday night as a team, we'll jump on and we'll do training. These training sessions touch on all areas of protection, mortgage, and the business, whether that be system learning, whether that be provider knowledge, whether that be how to maximize your income and generate business leads, all that kind of thing. Team talk. It could be on anything, but that Monday night training session really allows people to connect with each other, engage with each other, and get incredible advice.
That's great. That's so good. Thank you very much for telling us it. So tell us more about True Life then. Like, what's the nitty-gritty of stuff that you would want to tell to people if they were considering True Life as a network once they were CMAP qualified? What are the key points?
Key points is we really look for quality over quantity. We want to ensure that people that are coming through are serious as us about the business because for us, life insurance and mortgage advice is incredibly serious. Obviously, we are FCA regulated, can't get my words out. So, off the back of that means that we need to run a tight ship. So, although you are self employed, we do need to ensure that people are turning up to things like the training and showing commitment because we're putting you through your licensing and we want to ensure that the people essentially running with our company name are serious about the role and are offering very good advice. So, yeah, something that we are really pushed and we focus on is the quality of the person. And also it's been telling actually, because the people that haven't showed up on the training sessions and haven't asked questions are always the ones that sort of slip away when they come through, because of
End up
not,
dropping off.
yeah, they've just not took the role seriously, Charlotte. So we're looking for people that really are serious and really
Yeah.
do want to impact people's lives in a positive way and build an incredible career. So that's something that we are passionate about. The system that we've actually got in place is very smooth sailing. You'll come through, you'll do your insight test, you'll do your e-learning, you'll do your 2-day course, you'll do your role play. You'll obviously meet all the compliance and regulation requirements. You'll have your background check and then you'll be signed off as an advisor. So the process is all very smooth sailing, but it's just to ensure that we, at the back of it, understand that you are suitable for the role, and that's why all the additional checks are done.
Yeah. I found it quite surprising how quickly I could get through it. So I went through like half of the training process with True Life to just basically get it done and get, signed up as soon as possible.
Yeah,
And it was literally like from the day that I said I wanted to go, they were like, cool, so in a week's time you can join the is it like the 5-day training? Just
yeah, yeah,
go
yeah.
and get
That
these mandatory quizzes done first, box those off, then join the 5-day training, and then after that you got your role plays and stuff and you're ready to go. And I think that's a nice process or a nice place to be, because I know there's some networks where it's like, well, within 6 months is reasonable from the day that you say yes. And I'm like,
yeah,
where are people getting their money from in that 6 month period? Like, people don't have 6 months to spend training
yeah.
for something.
No, well, that,
So I
sorry to
go on,
interrupt you.
sorry.
Sorry, Charlotte. That's something that I found as well, because I was with a previous network before I came to this network, and it was just better suited to me around George and everything.
Hmm.
And the systems were a lot better in my opinion. But with the previous network I was with, it literally took me like 6, 7 months to qualify, and that's just crazy. I was doing the courses when George went to bed and all that kind of thing. Whereas with True Life, the actual process for me personally took me 2 weeks, but it can take it's took other advisors other up to 8 weeks, obviously depending on
Yeah,
all that kind of thing. So you can get through as quick as you want to get through, because we're ready to go when they are essentially. So it's just all about the person and how important it is to them to get out the other side.
amazing. Niamh, can we talk about money? Can we talk about the numbers? Because it's like the thing that nobody wants to talk about, but everybody wants to listen to. So can I ask you some questions?
Yeah, of course you can go for it.
Amazing. Earning potential with life insurance. I appreciate you are not going to be able to be specific because every advisor is different. But for my guys, they're thinking about mortgages and they might be thinking, is protection worth it as an add-on? Talk to me about the numbers.
Yeah, so protection is definitely worth it, and I'd advise off experience now anybody that's going through the mortgage to definitely go and do protection if that's something that you want to do, because honestly it's incredible. Now, you've already heard about my busy lifestyle. I work another
Hmm.
job, run another business, have a son, and obviously do my protection, which is incredible. And one of my advisors, Dom, I did say that I'd mention his name so he doesn't mind. He absolutely incredible. Now, he worked full time as a teacher in a school, and he was building his insurance business in the evening. So he'd get home like 6, go to football because he was semi pro football. He had an injury, and this is what got him into the life insurance off the back of the injury and wanting something to do essentially, because I think that because he lived such an active lifestyle and that was taken away from him for a period of time, he needed something else. He's very much like me. So, Dom has left his full-time job in a school, having built his business, insurance business, alongside his full-time job, and now he's actually going, when they break up for the 6 weeks holiday, to run his insurance full-time, because Dom is earning an incredible amount of money. And when he first came into the business, it was always, "Oh, I don't know if I could do this full-time one day," and he's done it. He's done it a lot quicker than he ever imagined. He's been an advisor with myself now for about 7 months, if that, and he's put himself in a situation financially, or a position financially, should I say, where he no longer has to work a 9 to 5. He can move down and live with his girlfriend, which has been on the cards for a long time, and this is enabled for him to do so. It's changing lives and in such a positive way. But even if people wanted to come and just earn a couple of £100 a week, whatever they want to earn, it's completely uncapped, and it's done a lot for us. It really, really has.
I mean, congratulations. You've reached
Thank
everything. Like, you deserve it because you work so hard. But I think sometimes somebody needs to tell you how incredible you are, because that's just amazing. Well done.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's really good. And do you know what? I often pinch myself because I think, although I'm not earning as much as the full time advisors, which is rightly so, like sometimes even on a bad week, So even on a bad week, your bad weeks are never really bad weeks, because the week after you're generating that business again. Yeah, I can't complain at all, and it's put me in such a great position financially in comparison to what I was last year.
That's amazing. I know we said we were going to try and keep this episode between like 20 and 25 minutes. So I'm going to think about wrapping it up now. But what I would like to ask before I let you go, because hilariously, what we haven't spoken about is because we both have kids. I was like, Niamh, what time does George go to bed? And you've come onto this call sat in your car because George is in fact not in bed and it's 8:30 and we're both in our pajamas while we're recording this. So I'm not going to keep you any longer. But what would
Okay.
your top piece of advice be for any advisor who's potentially studying for CMAP but is thinking about adding protection in? What's your top tip for them?
Top tip is, firstly, just go for it, because you'll thank yourself later. But secondly, ask questions. Don't be afraid of asking questions, because you've got to be a sponge in this industry. You've got to be open to learning new skills, and you've got to have very good listening skills, because ultimately that's what this job depends on. Because when we go and see clients, we're listening with our ears at all times and picking up on the key points. So also, you've got to be adjustable and adaptable to every scenario, because every appointment is completely different. It's not the same, as you'd realise when you go and do your mortgage appointments as well. Every client's wanting something else. So just be mindful when you're going into appointments, because it can go any which way. Be on the ball, be organised. That's absolute key. Organisation is everything, because it's people's lives, and never be afraid to ask the question. And a big thing that I always say to advisors is, if you do not know the answer to a question that a client is asking you, don't advise. Just say to them, I'm sorry, it's not something that I'm aware of or that I know of. I'll go away, I'll ask the questions, and I'll get back to you. And never advise on an area that isn't your area to advise on. Always refer them on to somebody else, because that is very important.
Very similar to mortgages, like all the parallels that are there. And the last thing that I didn't mention is, Niamh, do you need a protection qualification to be able to offer protection with True Life?
Yes, you do. Yeah. So you'll come through essentially as you did, Charlotte, and go through the motion, come out the other side, you'll get your license, but you're not just going to be covered in sort of your life insurance, your critical illness, your income protection. You also have scope to do home insurance, key man insurance, relevant life, and shareholders insurance as well. So you've got quite a lot of strings to your bow off the back of one license.
Amazing. So you don't need something like your RO5 qualification to come
So
in to True Life. You just get your training in-house and then you're good to go with them.
that's correct. Yeah, you don't need that. Sorry.
Perfect. No, no, it's absolutely fine. So we don't know whether that space will be changing just because a couple of people have been making noise about are they going to make it so that future advisors need a qualification? And we don't know whether what that qualification will be. So guys, just as a little bit of advice right now, for most networks, you don't need a qualification. You get the training in-house. If anybody does want to do a qualification, there's a couple of different options. The RO5 is quite popular, which is through the Chartered Institute of Insurers. And if anybody does need a e-learning course for that, I can help. I'll link it on the website. I'll link it in the show notes. But I think I've probably had enough of your time. Thank you so much. Where can people find you?
Instagram, to be fair, my platform that I essentially use for my insurance is my Instagram. So it is at Ever Protected, so @_Ever Protected. And you've also got links there to my personal social medias. I'm a mum that likes to keep you up to date with my life and share the ins and outs and the nitty gritty. So a lot of people do tend to follow my personal one, which is @_MB Jackson, just to get an insight into insurance life and mum life too. It can be pretty cool. They go hand in hand.
I will make sure that I include all of your links in the show notes so that people can just click right through. But guys, if you've enjoyed listening to this episode, please go and show Niamh some love. If it is that you are partway through your CMAP journey and you're thinking about networks, Niamh is available to talk if you ever want to ask questions about True Life. She's absolutely there to help. And Niamh, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you so much for your time. Have a lovely evening. I will see you soon.
Enjoy your evening.
Thank you. Bye.